Good morning class 12 students. So today we're gonna start new chapter of physics. Okay, so we'll be starting chapter number 11, that is dual nature of matter and radiation, and this is the lecture number 1 of this chapter. So let us begin. So first of all, as the name of the chapter suggests, dual nature of matter and radiation, that is, it suggests that light is of dual nature, that is wave nature and particle nature. Up till now you were studying wave nature of light. For example, you studied the phenomena, interference, diffraction, polarization. All those were based on the wave nature of light. But in this chapter you will be studying about the particle nature of light. So how the particle nature of light was justified? So it was said that light consists of small packets of energy, and each packet is either called photon or quanta of light. Okay, so it was suggested that the light is consisting small packets of energy, and each packet of energy was given a name. It was either called photon or it was called quanta of light. So generally we'll be using the term photon here. Okay, so now it was seen the energy of this each photon was equal to h nu, that is h is your Planck's constant and nu is the frequency. So energy of each photon was written by this formula, that is h nu, and as you know frequency is nothing but c by lambda, so you can write it as hc by lambda as well. So this is how, based on photons, particle nature of light was established. Okay students, so in this chapter you will be studying about a very important effect which is called photoelectric effect, and this effect is based on the particle nature of light. So before studying that effect, you should be aware of one term which is called work function of metal, and it is generally denoted by phi naught. So suppose this is any metal, and as you know there are free electrons inside a metal. So these are those free electrons in a metal. Okay, so if I ask you one question, are these electrons free to move this free to go away from this metal? So the answer will be no. Why? Because suppose if any electron move away from this metal, so as soon as the electron gets out, this metal will acquire some positive charge. Due to this positive charge, this electron will again be attracted to this metal. That means this electron is free to move inside the metal, but it is not free to go outside the metal. So that means you will be requiring some energy to free this electron from the surface of metal. That minimum energy is called work function of any metal. So to define work function, you can say a minimum energy required to eject the electron from the surface of a metal is called work function of the metal. Okay, and it is measured in electron volts, because obviously work function is energy, so it is measured in electron volts. So there are various emission. First is thermonic emission. In thermonic emission, what is done? The metal is heated to eject the electrons from its surface. Okay. Second is your called secondary emission. As the name is clear, secondary emission, it means there will be two electrons, or you can say there will be two type of electrons, primary electrons and secondary electrons. So to eject the electrons from the surface of metal, what will happen? Fast moving electrons will strike the metal surface, and these electrons are called primary electrons. And when the primary electrons strike the surface of metal, then ejection of secondary electrons take place, which is called secondary emission. So in this, the reason that is responsible for the emission of electrons is nothing but fast moving electrons itself, which are called primary electrons. Okay, so the main effect on the main emission that we will be studying in this chapter is called photoelectric emission. We will be studying this in detail. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you in this what happens. So the phenomena of emission of electrons from the metal surface when the light radiations of suitable frequency fall on it. That is, in photoelectric emission, there will be some light radiation of suitable frequency which will fall on the metal, and when that light radiation will fall on the metal, there will be the emission of electrons from the surface of metal. So this is called photoelectric emission. Now see, as I told you, some energy is required by the electron to get ejected from the metal surface. So here in photoelectric emission, the energy required to free the electron will be supplied or will be provided by the photons which are incident, because as I told you, light radiations are incident on metal. So that means photons are incident on the metal, which will provide the electron required energy so that it can come out from the surface of metal. Okay, so the electrons that are emitted in this case are called photoelectrons because they are ejected by photons. So they are called photoelectrons. And as you know, if electrons are ejected, that means there will be some current, obviously. So the current so produced is called photoelectric current. So if we want to define 1 electron volt, so we can say the energy acquired by an electron when it is accelerated through a potential difference of 1 volt is called 1 electron volt. And the relation between electron volt and joule is given by 1 electron volt is equals to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules. Okay, so now let us start with photoelectric effect, that is the experimental study of photoelectric effect. So for that, what was done, two plates were taken, a plate E and plate C. Okay, these plates were connected to a potential like this, and then a micrometer was used to measure the current. Okay, so as you can see, there is some gap left here, that is for the incident radiation to fall on the metal plate. Okay, so you can see these plates are placed inside a evacuated glass tube and some gap is there so that the incident light can fall on the plate. Okay, so now what will happen from this S, that is from the source of incident light, the incident radiation, or you can say photons, will fall on the plate E, due to which there will be the ejection of electrons from this surface of this plate. Okay, that's why it is called plate E, because it is a emitter plate which is responsible for emitting electrons. Okay, now as you can see clearly here, this plate C is connected to a positive potential. That means its potential is positive and electrons are negative. So that means this plate will attract electrons towards itself. So therefore this plate will collect the electrons and is called collector plate. So it will collect the electrons, they will come outside and we will get some deflection, or you can say we will get some current in your micrometer. Okay, now in this experiment there were some observations made. Basically 4 observations were there. So as you know, this incident radiation is having photons. So therefore this incident radiation obviously will be having some frequency and some intensity. So what was seen, there was a minimum frequency on which the ejection of electrons was taking place. If we take the frequency less than that minimum frequency, then there was no ejection of electrons. So you can write as a minimum frequency is required to eject the electrons from the surface of metal, and that minimum frequency was called threshold frequency, which is denoted by nu naught. That is, you can say if you have a frequency of incident radiation nu, which is less than threshold frequency, then for that frequency there will be no ejection of electrons. So this was the first observation in your photoelectric effect. Second observation was that as the radiation of required frequency falls on metal surface, again required frequency, that means the frequency should be greater than or at least equal to threshold frequency. Okay, so as the radiation of required frequency falls on metal surface, ejection of electrons takes place without any time gap. This means, secondly, it was observed that as soon as your required frequency of light falls on the surface of metal, ejection of electron takes place. That is, there is no time gap between incident of photons and ejection of electrons. So this was second observation. Third observation was that if intensity of incident light is increased, that is, by increasing intensity we mean here by increasing the number of photons. That is, if we increase the number of photons in incident light, it was seen that number of electrons, that is number of photoelectrons that are emitted per second, or you can say photoelectric current, is increased. That is, suppose if we have 5 photons initially, then there will be ejection of electrons, obviously. But if you have 10 electrons, 10 photons, that is, if you have increased the intensity of incident radiation, then it was seen more electrons were ejected. And if more electrons are ejected, that means obviously photoelectric current will also increase. So your third observation was that intensity of incident light is directly proportional to your photoelectric current. Fourth observation was that if frequency of incident light is increased, in third observation intensity was increased, in this observation frequency of incident light was increased, so it was seen that stopping potential increases. Now what do you mean by this stopping potential? So let me explain you that first. So see, as I told you, this plate is attracting electrons. Suppose I decrease the potential of this plate to one negative value. Okay, as soon as this plate will become negative, it will start repelling these electrons. So there will be a point when, suppose the negative potential of this plate becomes V0, and at that point all these electrons are repelled by the plate. That means no electron will reach to the plate, and on that point photoelectric current will become 0. That potential is called stopping potential or cut-off potential. So to define stopping potential, you can say the negative potential of plate C at which photoelectric current becomes 0 is called stopping potential or cut-off potential. And if you want to write down the kinetic energy of electron, maximum kinetic energy of electrons in terms of stopping potential, it is written as kinetic energy maximum is equals to EV0. And why we are taking maximum here, that I'll tell you in the next topic. Okay, so for here you can just remember kinetic energy maximum of electrons is equals to EV0, where V0 is your stopping potential, and stopping potential is always negative, and at stopping potential your photoelectric current will become 0. Okay, so up till now we have studied all the observations. So the explanation of all these observations were given by Einstein on the basis of particle nature of light. Okay, so to explain all the observations on the basis of particle nature, first of all we will study the Einstein photoelectric equation. So we will be deriving that Einstein photoelectric equation. Okay, so for that, as you know, photons are incident on the metal. So photons have an energy of h nu, where h is your Planck's constant, nu is the frequency. Okay, so what was seen, when the photon of energy h nu is incident on a metal, it is used in two parts. First part, it is used to overcome the work function of the metal, which is phi naught, and it is used to provide maximum kinetic energy to electrons. Okay, I am repeating it once again. The photon which is incident on the surface of metal is used in two parts. First, in providing work, in overcoming work function of the metal, and second, in providing maximum kinetic energy to electrons. Okay, so as you know, phi naught, that is your work function, is a kind of energy only. So therefore we can write it as h nu naught, where nu naught is threshold frequency. Okay, so h nu will come to be h nu naught plus kinetic energy maximum, that means half mv maximum square. From here, if you want to write down the equation for half mv maximum square, that will come to be h nu minus h nu naught. This equation was called Einstein photoelectric equation. And now the question, I'll take the question, why we take here V maximum. Okay, so that is because, see, electrons are present in different orbits, obviously, and this you also know that to remove an electron from a different orbit, different energy is required. That means there will be a range of kinetic energy of electrons that are emitted. So you can say, as different energy is required to eject the electrons from different orbits, therefore there will be a range of kinetic energy of the emitted photoelectrons. So therefore we are taking here maximum kinetic energy, because there will be a range of kinetic energy there. Okay, so now on the basis of this equation, Einstein explained the observations of photoelectric equation, or sorry, photoelectric effect. Okay, so now let us see the explanation on the basis of particle nature. So to explain first observation, he took nu less than nu naught, where nu naught is your threshold frequency. So your equation is kinetic energy maximum is h nu minus h nu naught, or you can say if you take h common, that will be nu minus nu naught. So if nu is less than nu naught, in that case kinetic energy will become negative. And as you know, kinetic energy is always positive, it can never be negative. That means this condition, at this condition there will be no emission of photoelectrons. So this is the explanation of first observation, that no emission of photoelectrons takes place below threshold frequency. Okay, to explain second observation, he said that when a photon falls on a surface of metal, there is an elastic collision between electron and photon inside the metal. So as there is an elastic collision between them, there will be no time gap in the exchange of their energy. That is, as soon as photon will fall on the metal, electron will acquire the energy and it will come out. So there will be no time gap in exchange of their energy, and electron is ejected very fastly as the photon is incident. So this was the explanation of your second observation. Okay, so the next third point says if nu is greater than nu naught, where nu naught is your threshold frequency. So as we have the photoelectric equation, that is kinetic energy is h into nu minus nu naught. So see, threshold frequency for a metal is fixed. H is Planck's constant, which is also fixed. So that means as nu increases, kinetic energy will also go on increasing. So therefore, this is again the explanation for one of the observation, that kinetic energy or your stopping potential increases with the increase in frequency of incident light. Explanation of third observation, and the explanation of fourth observation was given by that it was said that one incident photon can eject only one photoelectron. That is, for one incident photon, one electron is ejected out. That means as much as you increase the number of photons, number of ejected electrons will also increase. So from here you can say photoelectric current is directly proportional to the intensity of incident light. Okay, so this was the explanation of all the observations on the basis of particle nature. Now the question arises, why can't these observations be explained on the basis of wave nature? So now we will see what wave nature says and why these observations were not explained on the basis of wave nature. So first of all, when we talk about a wave, energy of light of a wave, energy of light is measured in terms of intensity of light. Okay, but as we have studied, for photoelectric effect, intensity of light only increases photoelectric current. It was not having any effect on stopping potential or kinetic energy of electrons. But in wave nature, because energy is directly proportional, is measured in the terms of intensity of light, therefore this means if you increase the intensity of light, energy of the emitted photoelectrons can also be increased, which is the violation of one of the observation. Okay, so second point is that emission is possible for all the frequencies provided intensity is sufficient to provide energy to electron. That means this observation says that ejection of photoelectrons is possible for all the frequencies. Now how it says that? Because see, if you are increasing intensity of light, that means energy of light is also increasing according to wave nature. And if energy of light is increasing, that means your ejection of photoelectrons will take place, obviously. So that means there is no role of frequency, but it is again the violation of your one of the observation, because according to our particle nature, there is some minimum frequency required to eject the photoelectrons. So this is again the violation. Third point was that it is said when a wave falls on a metal, energy of the wave gets distributed on the surface of metal. That is, when a wave falls, the energy is not that it's not that there is some collision or there is the exact transfer of energy. Instead, the energy of wave gets distributed over the surface. And obviously if something is getting distributed, that means to collect it some time will be taken. So therefore electron will take some time to gather the energy which is required for its emission. Therefore there will be a time lag between incident of photons and emission of electrons. So based on all these points, your wave nature was not able to explain any of the observation of photoelectric